My favorite chair is a mesh office chair, but the truth is mesh chairs can be very polarizing. After testing over 100 chairs, I found that bad mesh chairs are completely unsittable. In this video, I'm going to rank 15 of the most popular mesh office chairs. Let's kick it off with one of the nicest looking mesh chairs on the market, the Hayworth Fern. I love the look and feel of the mesh on the Fern. It's the perfect balance of allowing you to sink into the chair while still giving you great support. The good vibes don't end with the mesh. The flexibility in both the seat and the back make this one of the most comfortable chairs on my list. The smooth recline is second only to the high-end Herman chairs. I would skip the headrest for two reasons. It limits some of the movement in the backrest, and it's just very firm. Take away the headrest, and this is an A-tier chair. Next up is my favorite chair for under $300, the Clitina Millet. Its top feature is its headrest, which adjusts perfectly to fit into the curve of your neck and has great padding. The seat pad is comfortable, but it's small, so I wouldn't recommend this chair for anyone 6 foot or taller. The Millet takes design cues from the Steelcase Leap, especially in the style of the arms. But don't be confused by my Leap comparison, this is far from a high-end chair. The lumbar is a major pain and needs to be removed immediately. And the gap between the arms and the backrest when you recline is huge. I'm giving this a C. I added the Humanscale Liberty to this list because it's a polarizing chair, but one that I really like. I always sit in this chair in our conference room, and after meetings that can be a couple hours long, I'm always thinking I need to bring this chair to my desk. The mesh is excellent quality, looks and feels great. I would place Humanscale mesh second only to the Herman Aeron's pellicle mesh. The backrest has the perfect amount of give to let you float in the chair. Adding to the floating feeling is the pivoting function in the backrest. One caution is be sure to be educated on this chair before you buy, because the Liberty is not super adjustable. I give the Liberty a high B. It's a very underrated chair in my opinion. I'm afraid we're going to the other end of the spectrum with Secretlab's entry into office chairs, the new chair. One positive is that the arm pads are large and have a decent cushion, and the adjustments under the arm are fancy, but they're also kind of gimmicky. The biggest problem I have with the Secretlab chair is I sink right through the loose mesh and hit the hard frame. This is a problem you'll see with many of the low-tier mesh chairs. For me, at 6'2", the backrest was too short, so my back was always hitting the hard frame, and the lumbar is just super hard. And I'm even someone who appreciates a firm lumbar support. Overall, the look and feel is very Hyken-esque. And the Staples Hyken didn't even make my list, but it would be a $200 F-tier chair. The new chair isn't quite that bad, so I'll drop it in at a D. The Herman Aeron Remastered, S-tier all the way. If you're set on a mesh office chair and you have a big budget, this has to be a consideration. The Aeron gives you the perfect suspended feeling and the highest quality mesh you'll find. Pair that with the best recline in the industry and you can float away while you work. Okay, I'll stop gushing. There's a few things I don't love. I don't come into contact with the frame when I'm sitting properly, but if I try different sitting styles, it can feel a bit restrictive. And if you're buying this chair for a shared workspace, it's not a one-size-fits-all chair. The original Aeron is from 1994, almost 30 years ago, and it still carries the style and class that makes it the mesh chair gold standard, S tier. I'm going back-to-back Herman with the Varus chair up next. For about half the price of a new Aeron, you can get the same Herman warranty and return policy, but in a mid-tier chair. The Varus is a solid value, and one of our top picks for the $700 price range. I describe it as a jack of all trades, but a master of none. The seat is comfortable and a nice large size, and the backrest is very supportive with no frame issues. I do wish the arm pads were softer, but I wouldn't say they're uncomfortable. I would have a hard time choosing between the Varus and the Zodi for a top pick at this price range. With nothing to complain about, I give the Varus a solid B tier rating. At this under $200 price range, we often compare the Takova ergonomic chair with the Clitina Millet. I've always been team Millet, but the Takova isn't far behind. The Takova has a higher back, so this is a better choice for anyone 6 foot or taller. The mesh back is better than you'd expect for this price point, which is a big reason it's a good value. The headrest is very comfortable and fits right in the curve of the neck. The biggest negative with the Takova is the seat. It's on the smaller side and I find myself bottoming out right away. The Takova is still a C-tier chair, right behind the Clitina. Another great looking chair from Hayworth, the Zodi makes a great first impression when you order the right combo of colors and fabric. Something I love about the new Zodi is the dual posture adjustment range, which gives you the ability to perch on your chair. The seat is a bit too firm for my liking, more firm than both the original Zodi and the Fern chair, but the flared wide backrest is very comfortable with high quality mesh. My preference leans more towards the narrowed back Fern, which allows for more movement in the chair, but this is still an excellent pick and the Zodi gets a high B for me. I found the Han Ignition chair to have a couple surprises. Starting off with a good surprise, there's actually a good amount of flexibility in the back frame. I like being able to move around in my chair, and the Han allows for some of that. A not so good surprise, the seat uses what feels and sounds like an unusual type of foam. You can actually hear the crunching of the foam as you move. The fact that I prefer a couple of the $200 chairs over this $400 chair means I have to drop it down, so this is a D-tier chair. With the Eurotech Vera, I have to lead off with the backrest. It has great support and a built-in lumbar curve, which will fit just about everyone. The seat is nicely padded, but also supportive enough for those long sitting sessions. The Vera has a good range of adjustments, including a seat slider to accommodate for tall and short users. The chair does have a couple downsides, but none of them were a deal breaker for me. I liked it enough to purchase it for my home a few years back. One personal preference I have is I wish the Vera's arms would go a little bit lower. Another issue is that the mesh tends to pull on soft clothing. The Vera slots in as a solid B. Leading off with the rank on this one, the Chasm is an A-tier chair, with a bit of an asterisk. Similar to the Aeron, you're getting the amazing floating feeling from the high-quality mesh and excellent recline. And with the Chasm, I never feel the hard edges. The built-in headrest makes it super comfortable to kick back when reclining watching a video. And finally, this chair is just super cool looking. Now for the asterisk. I recommend this chair only for situations where you don't plan to sit in it for 40 plus hours. Maybe a home office that gets used 10 hours a week or a conference room setting. The lack of adjustments prevent this from being a full-time chair for me. But as a part-time chair, this is an A. If you're looking for a mesh back chair with a nice thick cushioned seat, then the BTOD Akir might be the chair for you. The cushion lets you sink in without ever feeling bottomed out. This chair has a nice range of adjustments to fit a wide range of people. The backrest is wide and tall, so even tall users won't have an issue hitting the frame. One issue is the open mesh fabric on the seat can trap crumbs and dirt, so this isn't the best chair if you're a bit messy. And personally, I'm not a fan of the big cush seats, as I prefer a more firm support. So the Akir ranks only as a C tier for me. The XChair X2 K-Sport is a chair you've likely seen all over. Their aggressive marketing makes this a well-known chair, but unfortunately I find it to be a very overrated chair at almost $900. I would not rate this XChair much higher than a Staples Hyken, and I thought the Hyken was overrated at $170. The real problem with the X2 is the poor materials. The mesh is too loose, so you sink far into it and hit the seat frame. The arms are decent with good padding, and I do like the flexible lumbar support in the backrest. But these positives aren't enough to budget off an F-tier rating. For many people, the Jarfilet is easy to test and purchase at your local IKEA, but I can't see too many people testing this chair and deciding to buy it. There's a few design choices I really question here. It features a high backrest, which suggests it's good for tall people, but the very short seat depth removes this as a tall option. The backrest is basically mesh wrapped around 2 bars, so if you stray from the middle, it's very uncomfortable. In our recent arm comfort tier list, I gave the arms a G tier for garbage. I wouldn't quite give the whole chair a G rating, but I'm not sure if getting an F is much better.